Didn't work. We have to make do, those of us who get Botox and lip injections and, you know, everything else done to us through this crisis of a time right now. Dear God, please let Americans, you know, get their shit together and stay inside so I can go get my injections before my face falls flat. But on a real note, I hope everybody is staying safe right now. Please stay inside. Please take this seriously so we can all get back to our lives. But with that being said, you're probably wondering why I'm here over on our side channel compared to on our main channel. And you're probably going to hear why in a few moments when the next asshole decides to start bang, 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 shooting guns in my little redneck trashy town that I live in. I live up in the mountains, but we do have a few neighbors. But anyway, so I was like, I'm going to make do of my time or make use of my time and do a story time, kind of. Hopefully a helpful one for those of you who have been thinking of getting any work done regarding plastic surgery, injections, anything. I'm going to do the best I can in today's video while still giving you a story time, hopefully keeping it humorous before I go crazy and burn this whole fucking shed down because I'm literally on my last nerve. But go ahead and grab a snack, grab a drink. If you are, trigger warning very quickly, if you don't like the sound of guns, please click off this video now. It might not be as loud as I'm thinking it is because of the mic, but it's pretty loud and it's already like literally made me kick a stool across the room. So trigger warning, if you don't like gunshots, please click off. So let's get started. I'm going to be talking to you about today everything I've had done, everything, like how many times I've had it done, what I've had done. I've had a few major surgeries. I've had breast implants, liposuction, liposculpture. I've had lip implants. I've had, you know, all of the injections. I've had emergency surgery in my breasts regarding a hematoma. I've had it, I've gone through the ringer here, and I've made that choice. I want to make that very clear very quickly, is I have made the choice to go through these procedures except for the hematoma, which I'll get into. So let's go back to 2017 when our channel, I like to call it, but in this video I'm going to refer it to my channel, just to get the point across. In 2017, my channel blew up. Well, it started in late 2016, but when my channel really exploded, Karuna Satoriasmr was in 2017. In that time, I would get a numerous amount of comments, and as somebody who's already insecure about herself, someone who's never had money in her entire life, literally just has always wanted certain things done. So if you want the real story of how I got my first breast implant surgery, it was actually thanks to my dom. So I am into BDSM and I had a dominant at the time. We are very good friends to this day. He keeps me in check and he's recently just asked me to keep him in check. He's a good friend. We don't talk that often, but when we do, what? Oh, a ladybug. I was like, what the fuck? And he suggested I get breast implants. Now, I'm not going to explain the whole reason why he suggested this. It wasn't a matter of my insecurity. There's reasons for it. He's a Mason. There's a lot of things involved. See, there's the gunshots. But to make a long fucking story short, I shoved an entire bag of jelly beans up my ass, and I've still not found one of them. But anyway, went and got a breast augmentation. Now, breast augmentation, if you're wondering how or what they do, there's a few methods of doing breast implant surgery. They go through the nipple, which was my unfortunate, not a choice, surgery that I had. They go under the breast, which was my second augmentation. They went under my breasts and under the muscle. They'll go dual plane, which is half under muscle, half over the skin. Then they'll do over the muscle and under the muscle. Every surgeon has a different opinion of what kind of breast implants will work for the patient. The ridiculous dumbass surgeon that I went to is named Dr. Luton from Blair Plastic Surgery, and I was actually planning on doing an entire video exposing this fucking, oh my god. There are videos of me and they're praising this man on Real Self, which is a plastic surgery website where you can go and talk about lip injections, all kinds of stuff, like any augmentation that's eclective or whatever, you can go on there. I went on there and raved about the man all up until my lip implants, which I'll get into. So basically, I'm going to say that word a lot, and amongst 1,000 other words, I went in 2017. I weighed about 115 pounds. I'm 5'7" back then. I recently just lost 10 pounds from a little bit of liposculpture and Nutrisystem diet. I'll get into this. Those of you who watch our ASMR channel are probably like, Jesus fucking Christ. This woman that I follow is like addicted to plastic surgery. And pretty much, yes. A little bit I was, and I had a very large reality check recently when I went in for my re-augmentation, when my surgeon told me that my capsular contracture was so bad that it was starting to affect my body and I didn't even know it. But let's get into the story before I get too off track, because that's just how I am, and there's that ladybug just petrifying me. But anyway, so I go in. His name is Dr. Luton. He did my consultation. The consultation lasted about 20 minutes. Professional consultations will last over an hour. He looked at me. He got on his little, generic Apple computer that you can draw on, like on Dr. Phil, when Dr. Phil, goes and he acts like he's, literally drawing, even though it's a green screen, and, they're doing it with him, and it's like, count down, Dr. Phil, 3, 2, 1. So anyway, he shows me the implants. Unfortunately, since my dom was paying for them, he was just like, I just want you, with implants, whatever, pays for the surgery, etc., etc. In the time that was happening, I was also getting work done on my teeth. People thought, I'm not even getting into it, it's just so petty and stupid. We're literally in 2020, and there's still a group of people that think that, they're gonna cancel me, like Creepshow Art being one of them, ew. But anyway, I go in, consultation. He says he's going to give me 320 to 350 cc dual plane implants. That's half under the muscle, half over the muscle. Schedules my surgery, pay for it, whatever. I barely got to talk to the guy. I was so excited, but at the same time, so nervous and so scared. The day of surgery, I still have that clip, like a little vlog I did over there. Maybe someday, if you're interested in seeing it, I can post it. The day of surgery, we were supposed to be there at 1 p.m. Surgery was supposed to be at 1 p.m. I didn't go back till 4 p.m. It was the day that Tom Petty died. Literally was the day I got my first breast surgery. That's how I know the date. It was October 22nd. Please don't quote me on that. Rest in peace, Tom Petty, seriously. He made us wait. It was horrible. He told me to come in no makeup. I had a cap on my tooth because I said, I was in the middle of getting my teeth redone. It was horrible, horrifying. I go back for surgery. The woman's digging in my arm because I have tattoos, even though there's a blatant area here. I don't know if that's just something nurses go through. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm not judging your jobs. You guys are very important to the world. And yeah, see, this how frustrating. So I get called back, like I said. She's digging in my arms. No care, no compassion, no love, no showing of it's going to be okay whatsoever. They told me to take Valium the day of the procedure, but since being on methadone at the time, I was like, I can't take Valium. It mixes with my methadone and slows down my breathing. They didn't give a shit. They were like, why didn't you take the Valium? So with that being, people were, it was sad, and it was horrible, and it was traumatic, and I cry about it when I think about it long enough to this day. So I go in for surgery. I wake up in the most excruciating amount of pain I've ever been in. Now, please do not take what I'm saying right now as what's going to be your experience if you're thinking about getting breast implants. That's simply not the case. That's not true. That was my experience because I chose the wrong doctor, and the quote is true when they say you get what you pay for. The implants that were saline that I bought, I started out, my stats were 5'7", 115 pounds, and I was already a 32C. My breasts were deflated from having 2 children. There's nothing wrong with that, but and I also had what's called tuberous breasts. Tuberous breasts are where the breast tissue is rock hard. It's very, very hard, and it's tough. So when that's stretched out, there's going to be a little bit of pain, and there's going to be stretch marks and everything else. Luckily, for some reason, I don't know if my mother just gave me good skin, but I never had stretch marks from having children. I never had them on my breasts after them being stretched the way that they were. Obviously, eventually I will have those, and there's nothing wrong with them in the first place. I'm just making a point that I did not get what they told me that would potentially happen. So after surgery, I come out. My mother and my husband was waiting for me, and I literally was just in so much pain, bawling bawling, horrible, horrifying pain. I remember they literally wanted me out of there because the facility closed at 5:30 p.m. I didn't get out of there till like 6:30, 7:30. They got me out, they didn't even keep me in a recovery room. They wanted me out of there. They prescribed me Percocet 5 with being on, I think, maybe 30, 40 milligrams of methadone back then, maybe. Don't take my word for that things were going to be okay. Certain surgeons do drains in the breast, so I'm going to stand up here and show you after surgery, even though they go through the nipple, they'll cut like holes on the side. I had holes on each side. They stick tubes in you to help drain it. Other surgeons don't agree with that. They think that method is very outdated and horrible and horrifying, and that's exactly what this fucking old man did to me. I go home. I'm going to just fly through this story because I have a lot of other things to talk about. I go home. I kept telling my husband I was getting all of this pain on the right side of my arm. Like, it was to the point, I was already in excruciating pain. My lower back hurt, my upper back hurt. It's pain that I'd rather go through natural childbirth again like 452 times over without an epidural than I would the first time I had my breast implants. So I'm telling my husband, I'm like, listen, something's very, very wrong here. I'm very scared. I'm in a lot of pain. Please help me. Please call the hospital. Being that I'm a little bit dramatic, which as you can probably tell watching this video, my husband was like, let's give it a little bit. You just had a major surgery. Breast implant surgery is considered a major surgery, although it is elective or whatever you choose to have it. I don't know how to pronounce words. I'm a high school dropout. What are you expecting here? So time goes by, and it was about 1 a.m. I was up all night. I didn't sleep the night before, and the little bit of anesthesia they gave me, I'm so annoyed. I was in so much pain, and how my husband finally knew something was wrong was because of my drains were overfilling on the right side of my breast. Not only that, I was starting to form a bubble, and we had no idea what that was at the time, but the doctor wasn't answering my calls. He answered the first 2 times I called bawling, like, please. And he's like, no, you're just in pain. You need to calm down. You're just in pain. Everything's fine. What's your tube or your drain cc's at? They were each supposed to be like 50 to 100 cc's of blood or something to drain. Like, every time they filled up that high, you drain them, put the cap back on, and like rest. On my right breast, I was draining over 300 cc's of blood, and that's unrealistic and ridiculous. So finally, around, I think it was 4:30 a.m., my husband called. The lump above my right breast grew so large, and I'm not well, you know what? I'll insert a picture of it here. That the skin was stretching there too, and although I was numb and I've since lost complete feeling in my breast that I'll never get back ever again, I could feel up above my breast just stretching and pain in my arm. I couldn't lift it, whereas I could lift this arm a little bit. When you get breast implant surgery, it messes with the muscles on your upper arms. You can't lift your arms. You could maybe lift them like right here if, you're lucky, if you're a, strong person. He finally says, there's a lump on you, and my husband's like, yeah. He's like, and the drain is like up to 300 cc's of blood in like an hour or something like that. He's like, you need to get in here immediately. We're an hour and 15 minutes away from this facility, and I'll never forget that drive out there. My heart rate was going so fast that I was like, I need help. Like, I need to go to the hospital. But apparently, if you have breast implants and something goes wrong and you go to a local hospital, if there's not a surgeon who's educated in plastic surgery, they'll refuse. They can't do anything about it. They can just manage your symptoms until a plastic surgeon can get there. And like I said, mine, Dr. Luton, was an hour away at Blair. So we go up to the methadone clinic. I didn't have take-homes at the time, or takeaways. If you know methadone, they give you bottles to take home because it was a weekday. I only had my weekends. I go up to the clinic. I had to have like the security guard help me in with my husband, get me in front of the whole line, dose me. They're like, it was so dramatic and stupid and scary at the same time, because it's like, I chose to do this to myself, but this shit's happening to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was really scary and really painful, but at the same time, time I'm thinking, like, why did I do this to myself? Why? So I get there before the facility even opens. We left at like 4:15, arrived at 6:30. My husband flew out there. So, I mean, if we just get in an accident on the way, it's like, I'm already in pain. It shouldn't hurt to go, get taken out. Why not? No, I'm kidding, but... he's waiting outside the facility and it's like BMW, like nobody is there. And I get help getting lifted out of the car. He gets me in the facility, sets me down in some fucking like chair. It's funny and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? And he looks at me and he like takes the bandage bra thing off and he's like, oh my God. He's like, we need to get you to the emergency room right away. You have a hematoma and it needs drained before the blood goes to your heart or your lungs or whatever and kills you. So I'm just like, oh. So I'm like, please help me. Please get this pain away from me. I'm begging you guys. Like, just somebody fucking help me. So him and his BMW's like, follow me. Like, all like, I'm a fucking hero because I'm going to save this patient I fucked up in the first place. Even though a hematoma is something that your body creates on your own. But come to find out, he fucked up. Anyway, he made my pockets too small and the capsular contracture stretched me out. So I started getting all kinds of symptoms. It was crazy. We get to the hospital. I remember my husband had to sign for me, which is usually not a thing ever unless you're like on a life-threatening fucking, case in the hospital. And that was the case. They had to take me directly upstairs. I didn't even have a minute. They took off my bandage, went right in the same hole that they did. I was under anesthesia within minutes that I got to that hospital. And my husband signed for me, I guess, and I woke up like 2 hours later. 2 hours had passed. That was it. They had me on a ton of fentanyl. It was like the first relief I'd had. Fentanyl is deadly. Like, let me make that very clear as an addict. It's very deadly, but at that time I was very grateful for it. I could have died and would have probably been happy with the pain that I was in. And Dr. Luton didn't like that I was on methadone. Let me make that clear also. He said that addicts, addiction wasn't a disease, which is a controversy on its own. And he would always put me down and everything about asking for pain medication, like talking about it after surgery. I'll get into it with my lip implants that he, straight up would not give me any pain medication for that surgery until the second time, which I'll show you photos. So after my implant hematoma drainage, I went home and it was like, 6 hours before I was back in the hospital because I went home, the fentanyl wore off and my heart rate just went skyrocketing. I was like, boom, 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 boom. Like I was in so much pain. The drains were fine. Everything was fine, but my pain level, because of my methadone, it wasn't doing anything. And he, once I ran out of the Percocet, he wasn't going to help me. So they had me in the hospital after the hematoma drainal removal surgery for a week under supervised pain, what do you call it? Help with pain, whatever. I'm thinking of the word. It was horrible. I was treated like shit in there as well. Not all the nurses, they were pretty cool, but the ones that were under Dr. Luton that was sent by him, they would come in. The one older lady, took my bulb of blood, the drain, went to open it to drain it for me and spilled it all down into my underwear into my private area and left me there for a full 24 hours after that. And here's a photo of that as well. So that was petrifying, and thanks Dr. Luton for everything you did. But my dumbass, is the first time I ever had plastic surgery. I'm like, oh no, what he's doing is helping me. My husband immediately was like, we need to go somewhere else. But let me also make it clear that you're probably like, you have a husband, but yet you had a dominant. Yes, we are in a very open relationship, and it is going great. So anyway, fast forward to that. That can be a whole nother video. Crazy situation with Karuna Satori here. I got out, everything was fine. Just fast forward everything. I went back to the man later on that year. I think maybe December. It was October that I got my breasts done, and I wanted to get lip injections. I never had them before. It was something I was really excited about. He did my lips. I loved them. I loved the first time I got lip injections. They were very painful. To get into off the Storytime and lip injections a little bit, it's hyaluronic acid. It's something your body produces naturally that they just shoot up in your lips. There's a ton of different types of lip injections, like Vobellum, which is not as hard as regular, Juvederm. Juvederm is the longest lasting. They say, there's a video on YouTube with a doctor, a plastic surgeon, who talks about lip injections don't actually last 6 to 9 months. They last like 4. And for me, I'll explain this little bump right here, which is actually a lot more prominent in our main channel with my ASMR videos. It's just, it's funny and it's sad because you get what you pay for, and I'm over here like, well, he's not charging the $600 it costs to get lip injections. It's only $400 or this and that. And this was around the time I just started making money, and I was so about changing my appearance for our viewers. I used to get the worst comments, and I'm not blaming anybody for the reason that I got plastic surgery and what I think I got addicted to plastic surgery. No, like, I made that choice all by myself. Let me take that fucking responsibility now. It's nobody's fault but my own choice that I had these procedures done to me, and I still do to this day. I got the lip injections. For my first time, he used, I believe it was Vobellum, and Vobellum, it just didn't last. He put it in my lips and in my labial fold. Labial, you think like labia, and you're like, well, you put it in your clit or like, no, oh my god, no, he put it like right here. That's the labial fold, if I'm even pronouncing that right. That'd be funny if I'm not, and I just like completely fucked up, but put it right here, put it in my lips, and they looked so good, so good. I loved them. Unfortunately, though, like, getting lip injections when you have, like, extreme lines on your forehead, it just doesn't match. You just don't, I don't know. In my opinion, if you're going to get lip injections, my best advice for you is if you're going for a consult, you make sure you talk to him about what you want and what they offer there. Don't let them choose for you. Like, usually a certified board plastic surgeon, which Dr. Luton in Blair Plastic Surgery is so about, like, if you call his office, like, it's like, the nurses are all like, Dr. Luton, certified board plastic surgeon, as if he's been in some shit before, which if you read some of his reviews, they're not good. Basically, what I found out from that surgeon is he's known for doing plastic surgery on older patients. I go in there being like, what, 26, 25 at the time to get breast implants, like an asshole, like, here, modify my face, please, like, please. You're so cheap over there. You're so willing to get me in for an appointment whenever I want. I was like, this guy's great. I left the things that bothered me go because his convenience was more important to me than my actual health and safety. So I got my lips done. I love them. 4 months goes by and I'm like, I'm thinking of getting Botox. It's like an addiction. It's like once you start modifying your face and you love it, you're like, I want to do it more. And as somebody who grew up with an addictive personality, because my family, did you see that? Like, my hair just like flew out off camera. I don't have extensions. It's just all falling out because I'm depressed. Literally, like, because of these things, you know what I mean? Like, modifying your face, you're like, well, I'm just going to do this then. I'm going to try this and this. So then comes the Botox. I got Botox whenever I went back 4 months later. Dr. Luton was like, it's only been 4 months since you've had your lips done. What's your problem? And I go in and I show him. He's like, oh, well, your lips have deflated a little bit. Are you drinking enough water? And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. So anyway, because he's, a plastic surgeon and they love money, all of them do, no matter how much I respect one or the other, they love their money. He gave me more lip injections. And there's a rumor. Now, please, this is all alleged. I'm not trying to, like, shut down the man or treat him like shit. I would really like to expose him, but there's a rumor because plastic surgeons and everyone after that I went to, they would open the syringe from the box right there in front of you. He would always come in with the syringes already on a tray. Given that I heard from a whistleblower out there that they were putting, I'm sorry, I keep bumping the camera, that they're diluting the injections with like water or sugar or some kind of soluble that'll sit in your lips for like a while later. That's just a rumor. Please, that completely even makes the story sound, you know what I mean? Completely. So trust me, I know. But it's good to say, because it's good to stay away from surgeons that you know nothing about, that you need to get what you pay for and research. And I never researched. I started off by somebody offering to pay for my breasts. I was like, hell yes. You want some photos? You want to get, you know what I mean? Like, something I enjoy doing, I love doing. Like, yeah, hell yeah. Like, tit for tat. Like, yes, please. After that, after my lip injections, my Botox, and my breasts, I go back one more time to him. Well, it ended up being 4 more times for surgeries, but I went back one more time because my lip injections kept deflating after 4 months. That's $400 every 4 months. Who's paying that? You know what I mean? Like, I loved the results, don't get me wrong, but, like, I don't want to spend that type of money when I don't have it at the time. You know what I mean? So I go in and I talk to this man who nobody in this area does it. Lip implants. It's a lip augmentation. And here's a photo of the lip implants they put in your lips. They're these silicone little roly-poly things, and I have, on another video, a video where you can watch how they do it. They cut your lips. I'll forever have these lines. Hold on. See this? These little lines? You might not be able to tell, but sticking out here, and that's from him cutting my lips open. That was the last straw. The man schedules the surgery. It was about $1,200 to $3,000, I believe. I paid for it, whatever. The Dom hasn't paid for anything after that. There was just a reason for the breasts, which maybe someday I'll get into, but it's a really, really cool, like, conspiracy theory or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. And I love them. I loved them. But I'll explain what happened to my boobs later on after I get there. And we're getting up there. So, I schedule for lip implant surgery, lip augmentation, and they go in. Nobody in this area does these things. They're so outdated procedures, and in fact, apparently the UK has banned lip augmentations where you can get the implants and everything because it's dangerous. It can cut off, apparently, like a blood vessel or something that will cause necrosis and sepsis and all kinds of crazy shit. I go in for the surgery that day. It treated me the same like shit. I was just really excited for, like, not having to ever go. He warned me a little bit of the risks and the complications, which would be unevenness, which would be it rolling around in your lip. But he also said you would be awake during the procedure, but I promise you'll be numb, because I explained to him my fear. He's like, you don't need pain medication for this. He's like, you're not getting pain medication after the surgery. Why are you so, in need of pain medication? I'm like, because I'm on methadone and I'm scared of pain. I have a very low pain tolerance from being on methadone so long. I go into the lip implant procedure, second most painful experience. I was awake, and I'll never forget this, that I signed a fucking paper beforehand because I said I was going to do a video after this explaining all about the lip implants and everything. I signed a waiver saying that he could film it, and they did, and I was awake during. And you know what? I skipped too far ahead because I went in for lipo from him, which was all good. I'll get into that with my new lipo. I know there's so many. Let me end this lip implant thing and I'll go back a little bit. I was awake during the lip implant procedure, and I'll never forget, it was hurting when he went into my top lip. You can find this in my whole lip implant story on the side channel. Cuts my lip open, starts filtering it through. I start feeling pain and I start crying. I start begging him. I'm like, please, this hurts so bad. And I'm like, it hurts so bad. Like, because he's doing it. I can't move my lips. My face is paralyzed. They give you a bunch of dental injections, which don't do shit for me. Like, I just really wish he would take me seriously. Having the idea of being on methadone, it's like you're labeled as a drug addict no matter what. You can't like be taken seriously for most like doctors and nurses because they've seen like methadone patients. I'm not that person. I'm somebody who's been in recovery for so long that like I'm not interested in pain medication for using to feel good. I'm using it to manage my painful symptoms. Anyway, he didn't listen, and I'll never forget whenever we were in that surgery, I'm like, please stop. It hurts so bad. Please. Like, bawling, and he's like over me. He's like, well, you gotta do good for you gotta be ready for your debut. He's like, I'm not giving you. He like yelled at me, like chastised me, like fucking yelled at me during surgery, and I'll never forget bawling and like shaking my head back and forth, and like it was horrible. He sewed me up, clipped me. They had me get right up, sit in the recovery room for like 15-20 minutes and put me in the car and sent me home. And the first night, I just remember bawling. In fact, I said in the other video, I bought pain medication off somebody. I'm not going to say who, even though I think I said it in the other video. I bought pain medication, like illegally, bought it from somebody because I was in so much fucking pain. It was horrible. And just go watch over what happened on that video, because I texted him, my face blew up like a balloon. Let me just show you how bad it blew up. And not only that, don't ever get lip implants. If you're watching this to know about my procedures, don't ever get lip implants. You can do injections all you want, be happy. It can be reversed if something happens or goes wrong. Don't ever do lip implants. It's scarred me for life. It's made my mouth wider. It's all around gross. Don't do it. It's not even a very well practiced thing in the US. So just don't. The UK doesn't even do it, apparently. So I went back for 2 or 3 more surgeries after that to fix from complications. One was because the first time it slid over to this side, so I had a giant point, literally like this. You can go watch this video. The second surgery did give me pain medication. The third surgery he did, and then the removal he did not. So at the removal, I felt so much better, and I'm like, this was the last straw. So as I said a few moments ago about liposuction from him, I also did get liposuction. I removed my hip dips. You're probably thinking at this point, holy shit, like, you've had a lot of stuff done. I don't look like I mean, I don't think I look like a person who's had a lot of work done. If I do, please let me know in the comments, because that makes me feel better. As somebody who has always been about body positivity, let me make this very clear about myself. I can look at you, like you watching this, and your beauty is just radiant to me. It's gorgeous, no matter what you look like. I just think you're amazing, you're incredible, you're gorgeous, you're this, you're that. Even, let me even, like, you know what I mean? Even, like, my enemies, if you will. I look at them and I'm like, they're so beautiful. Like, they're just gorgeous people. But when I look in the mirror and I look at myself, I just don't want to look like this. Does that make sense? I want to look like somebody else. I don't want to look like me. I don't want to be me who, and I think it has to do a lot with maybe, like, when I was younger, like, being molested and being told, like, well, I was molested from 9 to 11, from, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not good enough to be my girlfriend, but here, let me touch you anyway, or you're not, you know what I mean? It's just, like, it's just sad. It's sad, but it's true. I see the beauty in everybody else, and I say, like, you don't need plastic surgery, you don't this, you don't that. If you want it, you go get it. But in my case, I see the beauty in everyone, but I can't see the beauty in myself, and to this day, I can't. So I removed my hip dips. I went and got liposuction from the man, and I thought everything went great, and that's fine. But after lipo, he didn't schedule any lymphatic massage, which is basically to get the blood flowing so you don't get clumps. And I didn't think anything came from that, but I had pain going up my hip, and I'm gonna get into that very soon. This video is not gonna be too long. Yes, it is. What am I fucking talking about? Well, at least they stopped shooting guns, so after this I can film my doctor video. Basically, after that, the lip implants, it was my last straw. I was so happy with my results from my lip injections from him. I was so happy with my results, I thought, from my breasts. And I was so happy with my results from my liposculpture. Do you know how good it feels from somebody who grows up with having hip dips? And if you're wondering what they are, it's like when you have an hourglass figure, only your hips, like low fucking flank hips, have fat just out of nowhere. So it completely disproportionates your body. You have to get certain jeans. High-rise jeans are the only ones that fit. You can't wear like mid-size. It's just horrible. And it's not comfortable, at least for me. And I had them, he removed 5 to 6 pounds of fat whenever I had it done. And I was happy with my results. But after the lip implants, that was it for me. So fast forward, I scheduled a new surgery with a place called Estique, which is where I ended up getting my breast implants. Estique Plastic Surgery in Greensburg, PA. Dr. Lazaro and Dr. Nadine, the best fucking people I've ever met. I've been with them for years now. Dr. Lazaro only has recently operated me in 2020. But I stuck up with my lip implants. Dr. Nadine, she was like, I'm only doing your lip implants once every 10 months. And that was it. And I'll never forget, like, going in there and, like, how nice they were. They have a spa side and a plastic surgery side. Dr. Nadine does the spa. Dr. Lazaro does the plastic surgery. I went to the spa to start getting lip injections, Botox, everything else. It was great. And, that was really it for that. There's really nothing to say but good things about them. So I kept up with my Botox for a while. I kept up with my lip injections. I did, and I will admit, because she only said she was going to do them every 10 months, my lips would deflate. And she just said, it's really not good for the skin. Stretches said it's not any other reason. So she's like, you do what you want. So I did. My surgeon is actually UPMC. So if you're like familiar with like the healthcare system in America, like it's all connected to like UPMC Medical Center. I never knew like the same people who did like open heart surgery and everything else, also did lip injections. So there's a place in a city, a very big city, Pittsburgh, PA, that does lip injections and Botox. So I would go to him. I don't even know his name. I still, this is the dangers of doing this. And this is actually where this came from. On our main channel, a lot of people pointed out that one time I got on camera and I just had this giant bump right here. Let me show you getting closer. So you can't see it now, but in the beginning of the video, I was using this thing called Juvelips. It's not sponsored. Please sponsor me. I use your product every day. There's like blood and everything in here, like from suctioning my lips too. This is the kind of shit that's very, very sad. But yeah, you just turn it on and you're like... You can find that on my OnlyFans. No, I'm kidding. No, but really. Yeah, there's like I guess whenever he was injecting, I moved because it hurt so bad, because he was using Juvederm XC, which is like, it has a numbing agent in it, but once you inject it at first, it stings. It's literally lidocaine, and it stings so bad going into your skin, and I'm just like, ah! So I moved, and he injected a little bit. That was my fault. Because literally, like, they're like holding me still, but they're really cool out there. I like them. They're really nice. They've done a good job this long. He messed up. He was like, do you want me to fix it? I can put it's like some kind of fatty acid that like removes the hyaluronic acid. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I'll just add my lipstick a certain way and I live with it. It doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't bother me. And I know people are like, you paid that much money though for these lip injections. Like, why wouldn't you go back and fix it? Because they don't do it for free. That's why. So I'll live with it. But anyway, I left Dr. Luton's office, went to Dr. Nadine and, this guy in UPMC. So here comes 2020. And at this point, my breasts have fucking rock hard, okay? I had saline, which, number one, there's a lot of, it's so quiet. Like, I'm so excited to film ASMR after this. There's a lot of talk about what's better in implants, and actually what's interesting, in 2020 there's been more explanting than there has been implants in plastic surgery in America, and that's crazy. People are getting their implants out because of symptoms from breast implant illness, because brain fog is like a very large symptom of breast implant illness, although I've had brain fog prior to my surgeries, so it's nothing new to me when I get a bout of it or a case of it for a week or two. But it's always good to look into it. As somebody who suffers from brain fog, as somebody who suffers from that, literally suffers from that, I can promise you with all of my person that I definitely believe when people say breast implant illness is real, because people are like, oh, there's no proven symptoms. It's like, if you're experiencing symptoms and there's a lot of you, chances are you're all not crazy. It's a real thing. But it's always good to know your risks. I never believed in risks or cared about risks because I was so happy somebody paid for my tits. I was like, yes, please give me something I've hated all my life. Like, reverse it for me. I don't care. I don't care about the risks. I was like, what, mid-20s? Like, you got to own up to your mistakes if you've made it this far in the video. Like, and I did. But I had to get my breasts fixed because he made the pockets too small, and it was my first time in the trauma I went through on my chest, I got capsular contracture. And capsular contracture is the biggest risk of breast implant surgery. It's where the capsule, when you get breast implants, your body over time creates a scar, basically a capsule of a scar tissue. And if you take care of your breasts, like mine now are very taken care of, it's been like, 3-4 months now since I've had it. I love them. I haven't had any type of capsular. Which I'll show you in a minute. I'll explain something in a minute to you, if you care. If you want to know how you know if you have capsular contracture. How you know if you have it is your breasts start becoming deformed, and that's exactly what happened. And people on my Not Safe for Work page, which was Patreon at the time and now is OnlyFans, they were pointing out, like, your one breast is kind of lopsided. You might want to get that checked out. In a more rude, hateful way, but I did. And I finally, at the beginning of 2020, I'd been saving up in 2019 massively with the sponsorships, and I had some extra money. And I was like, you know what? I think I should treat myself and, get these fixed, because they constantly, I lost complete feeling. Like, the nerve damage is irreversible on my breasts. I will never have feeling around my breasts or on my nipples ever again, ever in my life. But let me just say, like, when I went for my consultation to get a new augmentation to have them removed and reimplanted,
Dr. Lazaro was one of the sweetest, absolute sweetest men I've ever met in my life. He's an older man. He owns this fucking beautiful property. Just look it up. Estique Plastic Surgery, Greensburg, Pennsylvania. It's fucking amazing. It's a farm. It's a giant, like, 3,000 million acre farm with horses and all kinds of, like, stone mansion. I went in there and I felt like royalty because he treated me like royalty. He treated all his patients like that. In fact, the day of my surgery when I went in, he got me in immediately. I went right in. I didn't have to wait 3 hours and watch on the news how Tom Petty, like, died. No, like, you know what I mean? Like, like, getting scared. Like, oh shit, somebody I, like, you know, listen to their music all their life dies and I'm, like, ready to go in. Like, no, like, I went right in. My consultation lasted 2 hours. He suggested a lift. Dr. Luton suggested a lift too. He's like, I'll give you the surgery, but they're going to deflate over time. Your nipples are going to look to the floor. I'm like, thanks, insult me. I don't care. I go in. He suggested a lift, and that's where they did the lift that they, like, cut your nipples off and then repaste them back on, pretty much. I don't have, my scarring's pretty bad right now, but I'm only like 3 months out. It's going to take over a year for the scarring to go away. But I go in, consultation lasted like over 2 hours. He was just very sweet. And he got to know me. And I told him my experience. He didn't even know who the guy was. Come to find out, on the day of my surgery, he scheduled me very quickly, a week later actually. They were very nice and he explained the risks. He didn't just casually be like, oh, well, this is all great. Your life's going to change with my, you know, at my office. He's like, no. He's like, you know, there's potential for capsular contracture. You actually have it doubled now because you already have it. He's like, he was very honest. And he's like, but I promise you, he's like, I can give back what he took away. And he did. I went in, I was scheduled, I don't even remember, I think January 10th, 2020 for 6 a.m. I had to be there. I was there. They took me right up. And the nurses were so sweet. And they knew. He asked me, he's like, what kind of pain medication works for you since you're on methadone? I've never had somebody ask me like that. Like, I could have been like, can I get, like, fentanyl patches, please? Like, a little bit of addict humor here and there. No, but you know what I mean? Like, and I was like, can I just have perk 5s? I didn't want to, like, and what's interesting, and I was so scared, but there's girls in my town I've spoken to, they've went to him, and they promised me, they're like, you need to go. Like, these two girls, one used to clean for my house, and the other one, I went to school with, and they both had their breasts done by him, and they showed me photos, and I was like, holy shit, because your breasts will always look different. If you have a certain type of breast, like, shape, it's going to look, just imagine it enlarged. You can't just change the shape of your breasts. But there's, like, looking at the before and afters, I was like, how did he change the shape of your breast? Well, come to find out, Dr. Lazaro doesn't use draining, and I'm not putting down people who do use drains. He did say, like, some people will require them, like, for example, those who have had breast cancer, like, some women will opt for, or, you know, transgender, will opt for, like, a large implant or whatever, which will require drainage because they had all their breast tissue cut off at one time, you know what I mean? So, yes, drainage is important in some patients. But the way that he was using it was very outdated on patients like me who didn't need it. And it just, there was so much trauma done to my chest that, do you know what I mean? Like, he was like, no, we're not using drains on you. That's wrong. He's like, for you, that's wrong. So I go in and he was just so sweet. I'll never, like, I just won't forget that. Do you know what I mean? How he treated me, Dr. Lazaro, compared to the horrifying experience I had with Dr. Luton. Like, this man, like, he came in before surgery, so he gave me a little bit of Xanax, and, like, they were just like, what do you want for after your pain care and everything? So I was like, perk 5s. He was like, I remember I asked him, I was like, did you sleep well last night? Because it was like 6 a.m. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this man's here ready to, like, cut into my breasts at, like, 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. He's like, he calls me young lady. He's like, he calls me a cutie young lady. He's just very sweet, you know what I mean? Very, very fun and playful, but at the same time professional. He doesn't step over the lines or step over boundaries. And that just made me feel so good. The only thing I have to complain about, which I'll get into, I go in for the surgery and I wake up and I woke up like screaming, yelling, like, I'm scared. I thought I was going to be in excruciating pain again. I was like, I have to go through this again to get this fixed. I didn't experience 1 fucking ounce of pain on my breasts when I woke up, and I went 2 sizes bigger. I'm like at 550 cc's right now. Whenever I got out of surgery the first time, I was like 330, 325. There was no direct number because you can't. Because I didn't get to choose my implants. He's like, how big do you want to go at the consult? I'm like, I want massive tits. Like, please give me fake massive tits on my breast. Like, please, like, make me look plastic. I really like that look. And he's like, okay, young lady, instant. But he didn't make them look plastic. Go to my OnlyFans, like, go to P-Hub or whatever. Like, I'm leaked all over there. Not the old ones. They're gorgeous. I love them. And they're soft and they're supple and they're like, so I sit here all day, like squeeze my tits. Like, I'm just like, you did so amazing. And I wasn't in pain at all. I woke up so scared I was going to be in pain. And the only pain I felt was like under my armpits because, you know, it messes the muscle up. It felt like I did a workout or something, which I never work out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was so good with him. I went back for my post-op appointment 2 weeks later. He was supposed to take me back a week, but I told him he's like, have your stitches been dissolving? Actually, I went out there, and the nurses saw me, and they went and talked to him, and he was like, no, keep her for another week. They're dissolvable stitches. I'm, like, sitting here itching my crotch. Like, I wonder if you guys can notice that, but... So, yeah, like, it just went great. And they look great. They look amazing, in my opinion. I, a long time ago, got nipple tattoos in hearts, and the guy who did them way too big, so I had, like, these giant pepperoni heart nipples on my tits, and I was like, oh, well, shit, you know, I'm not gonna fuck for that. So, whenever he cut off the nipple, or whatever, with I think it's called not a mastectomy, or whatever, when they actually cut, it's a mastectomy, or something, Jesus Christ, I don't know. So, I'm just very happy with that experience. So, fast forward. And this is where the point where I'm kind of like, maybe I'm a little bit addicted to plastic surgery. This is before the pandemic when we're all like staying in our house with quarantine. Please stay in your fucking house. Like, I really need to go get my Botox again. Can you just stay in your house so we can all get better and people can stop dying? Like, it reminds me of people, those kids on the beach, like on the news, and they went to the beach, and I just like, and they're all like, I don't care if I get corona, like, you know, and I'm just like, Kim, there are people that are dying. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, after my breast surgery, I gained a little bit of extra weight. And this is where I kind of realized, like, with people online and everything like that, and I'm very grateful for it. Is happy with the results that I am. I am grateful for, you know, our family, and even, like, people who hate me. There have been some things that people who hate me, and I'm not going to get into it, but I will say I have taken some of your advice. People who you would never think I would take their advice, and I have. And it's changed me, a lot of it. There are people that will hate you and talk about you on places other than YouTube, and they're really ruthless. But then there are some people who are kind of ruthless, but they're not wrong. And they've helped me. And I'm glad, like, you know what I mean, they have said the things they have. And I'm glad, like, our family has said the things that they have. Like, hey, you know, your face doesn't look like you. And I'll get into that in a minute. But where I'm coming from, where I said that Dr. Luton ended up fucking up with my lipo, I literally went back for, like, a post-op appointment on my breasts. And I gained a little bit of weight from surgery. And I was like, hey, Dr. Lazaro, I was wondering if you could give me lipo again. I had lipo, in the past, and now I want it again. And he sat down and talked to me. He's like, well, what's the reason you want it? He's like, you're already a tiny build, which I'll get, it's actually really funny, something he said, which I was like, are you serious? But, he, you know, we were doing the consult or whatever, and, like, I felt way more comfortable with him, and I was telling him things, and I'm like, you know, like, this and that. He's like, I was like, do you think, I honestly almost got a fat transfer to my butt. But unfortunately, I didn't have enough fat to get a fat transfer to my butt. So he's like, well, do you still want a fat transfer? We could put it under your eyes. And I was like, oh, okay, let's do that. It's only a little bit extra. A little bit extra. So anyway, he was like, yeah, I can give you lipo. Where do you want it? Arms. I'm getting up right now. And I'm wearing a compression garment still. He did my, right here, he sculpted my hips. I literally, like, without my clothes, I look like a Barbie doll without my clothes on. Good for the OnlyFans. Go subscribe, $4.99 a month. No, I'm kidding, but, you know, so I I went in and I got liposculpture again, which is basically where he sculpts your body out and gives you lipo at the same time. But unfortunately, when I went in for that surgery, I went in at 6 a.m. again, and I didn't get out till like 3 p.m. And that's a long surgery. That's a very, very long surgery. I thought my breast implant surgery 4 hours. Well, it was 6 hours was a long, like my second one, my reaug, because I did the lift and everything, which takes a long time because they're dealing with skin rather than like, you know, guts and all that. And I came out of surgery and I was in pain. Like, he did a fat transfer to my face. I want to say that I'm still not healed because only 2/3 of the fat lasts in your face after you get a fat transfer. So looking under or on my face and everything, he took fat and he put it on my cheeks and he put it under my eyes. So I have a lazy eye when I take off my glasses. I hope you saw it. But anyway, I decided after that I was so happy. I was in a lot of pain. He gave me the pain medication. He was really cool about it. He's just like, you know, whatever, here's your pain medication. Enjoy. Like, I'm like, okay, recovering addict. That's cool. Like, we're good. No, but I was in pain for that surgery. And for some reason, my arms that I had lipoed were not in pain. They were not in pain at all. And you can probably still see where he did the incisions right here. He cut right here at the corner of my tattoo for my arms, and then right here down by my elbow. And you can actually still see some of the lines. He used Sharpie. When I had my fat transfer, like, here's a photo of like right after my fat transfer. Or I'm sorry, that was actually before. He did like diamonds on my face and everything with a red Sharpie. I'm like, how am I supposed to get this off after if I'm not allowed to wash my face for a week? He's like, consider it like it's rouge. He's like, you'll sweat so much it'll make it look like blush. And I'm like, okay, like this guy. No, I'm kidding. He's great. He really is. He's very sweet. And that's not like a, you know what I mean? So, I'm like, why am I in so much pain? I could not, for 2 weeks. It wasn't 1 week. Like the first time I had it, I only had my hip dips done and my belly or whatever. And like, I was not in pain. I was up and moving around in like 4 days. I had to have help getting up the second time. I was like, why does this hurt so bad? So when I got up, anesthesia makes me shake for some reason. When I got up the second time, I was like shaking. Like this was some crazy stuff. Dr. Lazaro, when I woke up, he had to come in. He was like holding my head to his chest. Like, he's like, it's okay. He's like petting my head because I'm bawling. I'm like, I want my husband, please. They gave me so much anesthesia. The first, actually, I will say, when I had my re-augmentation or my explant and re-implant, they gave me a medication that messed with my head and gave me brain fog for like 2 weeks. It scared me. I was like, I'm going to have brain fog for the rest of my life. It was a blood thinning medication or something like that. But I told them about it. Interestingly enough, the anesthesiologist, she listened to me, unlike the first one, who's just like, no, you know, you're on methadone, I know it's best for you, even though I hate drug addicts. Here you go, let's give you the least amount possible. She's like, oh. She's like, here, let me take that away from you. It gave you brain fog. She's like, I know exactly what it is. Took it off the list. When I woke up, I was completely coherent. Like, I was fine, but I was in a lot of pain, and Dr. Lazar is, like, holding me, and, like, it's just real sad. It's real funny. It's actually kind of embarrassing, and then I, like, pissed myself. But anyway, I was in so much pain, and they gave me extra fentanyl for that one. Like, it was funny, because I was, like, bawling and crying in pain, and the lady, I remember, she's like, what should I give her? And he's like, give her some more fentanyl. And, like, they just put it in the IV, and I was like, and then I'm like, I remember just nodding off. It was great feeling not to be in pain for like. And then on the way home, like somebody who just gets liposuction, I'm like, hey Vic, can you stop at Taco Bell? And he stops at Taco Bell and gets me like 3 tacos, like fattening ass tacos, and I'm just like, raw, you know what I mean? And like then I fell asleep holding a taco, and he like looks over, he's like, oh my god, and like it was just this big thing. No, it was all right, but so though when I did wake up, the reason I was in so much pain, he's like, I don't know what this other doctor did to you. And he said the same thing when he did my re-augmentation surgery. He's like, I don't know what this doctor did to you, but he messed you up. First off, it turns out when he did my breast, Dr. Luton did my breasts, he cut the pockets too small and too short. And what that did was the implant was no matter what, gonna give me capsular contracture, and I would have to go in for a new surgery. Funny. That's really interesting, considering he loves his money and everything else. Like, he's cheap, but he wants you to come back, which is, with my lip injection, seems to last longer with UPMC and Dr. Nadine, but doesn't last as long with Dr. Luton. I wonder if that's rumor is true. So anyway, so yeah, just to like make everything short, like, with the Reog, he's like, yeah, he's like, it was too small. He's like, you were at stage 4 capsular on each breast. He's like, or worse. He's like, I wish I could show you, but they threw out the whatever medical waste or whatever. Then with my lipo, I'm like, why am I in so much pain? Like, why? And he's like, there are, I think it's 400 or 300 cc's in a pound of fat, of just cc's of what? I don't know. They removed 1,800, 1,200 or 1,800, I don't know, but it was like 4 or 5 or 6 pounds. He's like, I did not think that you had that. That was like the comment. He's like, I didn't think you had that much fat in your arms. He's like, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, I'm a skinny fat person then. He's like, I was like, maybe I should start eating better. He's like, yeah, you probably should, but it was just funny. But the reason it hurt so bad on because there was so much scar tissue. Now, with liposuction, you are going to get scar tissue, but he's like, the amount of scar tissue that I removed, he's like, you were in surgery so long because I actually had to melt the fat before I sucked it out of you. So usually with liposuction or liposculpture, they just take a cannula, make very tiny incisions, like you can see, and take the cannula and just it looks horrifying, but it's really, I was awake for the first one. Of course I was. Don't want to pay the extra for anesthesia for Dr. Luton. And it felt like a massage. A lot of people say like they're awake when it happens and it doesn't hurt. It really didn't hurt at all. But the second time, like when I woke up, I was in excruciating pain. And also with lipo, apparently if you do it awake, it's better because the local anesthesia is like keeps you numb longer than general anesthesia, that when you wake up, you're dealing with pain that your brain, wasn't prepared for otherwise. So yeah, we're almost at an hour here. So yeah, whenever he did that, there was so much fat. There was so much fat he sucked out of me. Like, it was ridiculous. And scar tissue. He's like, I don't know who that doctor was, but he messed you up twice now. So Dr. Luton literally ruined me, and Dr. Lazaro helped me out. But with the fat transfer on my face, he was like, it's going to take 1 to 2 weeks for the swelling to go down. He's like, it's going to take 6 to 3 months, like 6 weeks to 3 months to start seeing results. And I was like, well, can I go back to work? Which, filming ASMR and stuff like that. And he's like, it's fine. He's like, I think you look great. 'Cause he saw me before the swelling when he did the fat transfer. And he's like, but you might be a little puffy. And my stupid ass, with this pandemic and everything going on, I was like, people could use ASMR now more than ever. So I got online thinking people wouldn't see that I got some work done on my cheeks. You know what I mean? You can see, I'm starting just to be able to smile again. And my smile is still a little bit messed up because I'm still swollen on this side. For some reason, this side, he added more than this side because, oh God, I'm not even going to get into it at this point. We're an hour in, guys. Like, I'm tired. And they stopped shooting guns, so I want to film some ASMR for you. But no. Basically, when I did film those 2 videos, though, people went off. And I had to turn off the comments, and I don't think in my years of being on YouTube, I have ever turned the comments off, ever. The only time I've turned comments off of it is if you go to my earlier, super first beginning videos, like long ago when my stalker was coming to, like, for me, and the animal abuse right people who thought I cooked a cat in the oven, which is a whole nother story. No! Yeah, they were all after me, so I turned the comments off when I first started YouTube back in like 2013 and 14. So yeah, family, they were coming at me, and even you guys, like my family, like my YouTube family said like, hey, we're concerned for you, like you're getting a little bit too much work done. And some other people said some things, and it's come to my attention that maybe, I do have a little bit of a problem wanting to get plastic surgery too much. And I'm not getting any more surgeries. With injections, I will keep up with my lip injections and my Botox. And unfortunately, because of what's going on, everything that's non-essential is closed. So like, my line, it's all starting to fade. So like, I have a flat forehead now and like giant cheeks, so my lips are going down. So I'm using this like Juvalips thing that's making my lips bleed. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm addicted to plastic surgery. We get it. Once an addict, always an addict. It's like, hi, do they have plastic surgery groups where you can go and be like, My name is Sarah, and I'm addicted to plastic surgery. No, but if you've made it this far, family, in this story time, please let me know what you thought of it down below. I'm sorry if those gunshot sounds in the beginning scared you. I kicked literally a stool over into the wall of my studio and out of anger. And it's very crazy, my story and how we got here and how this all happened, and it all had to start with somebody paying for my breasts and then me, getting ad revenue money from, and start having money. I like, for somebody who grew up poor, when you get some money in your life, you don't know what to do with it and you blow it on crazy shit. Hell, I collect reborn dolls for a living. I have like 3,000 WEREPUPS. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's I have a lot of problems, but I'm always open and willing to talk about them. And as much as I can admit where I'm wrong, it's really hard to still change. And I'm still working on that. So please give me some time. My mental health, it hasn't been good lately. And I'm just recently, like today, I was a little bit humorous. And I'm proud of that. I'm happy that I was like, haha, like, let's make a joke out of this really actually depressing, sad situation. Somebody did say, though, I will make one comment about what someone said. On my Instagram, I just recently started back up again and using, because I want to get verified over there, because I want to be like everybody else. No, well, yeah. Somebody commented, they're like, somebody should take your kids away again because you're going to be a horror, or you're going to butcher them like you butchered yourself or something. And that comment got to me. They were on a fake profile, no photo, like one follower. Whoever said it, congratulations, you had me crying for like 2 hours. I was like, why did I do this to myself? And like, I called my surgeon. He's like, if the swelling's gonna go down, relax. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's like, you don't even look that bad. Like, if you go to the video, I still have it up, and I will, because I think it's a good video. I like, my lips are like, and I'm like, it's just bad. I went on too early, and that's it. But somebody said that about my kids. People talk about how when my kids get older, that the internet is forever. And they're going to go on and they're going to see their mother nude. They're going to see their mother, like, drama, plastic surgery. And I'm going to be a horrible influence on them. I can promise you, looking directly at the lens, I'm like going to look in your eyes and tell you. My kids are very smart. My kids will know their mother. My kids will know their mother's past. And my kids will know better than to be ashamed of the fact that what their mother did in the past provided them a very comfortable future. My kids have bank accounts right now that they're pretty much covered for the first 10 years after they turn 18. They'll have everything that they need to live comfortably. And I can promise you that the last thing they're going to care about is what their mother did to protect them and to make sure that they had a future. There are other controversies I've spoken on in regards to my OnlyFans and, nudity and things like that, and the acts that I've done online and still do. And me getting plastic surgery. Oh, my daughter won't grow up with a role model. My daughter is so intelligent. My daughter is so beautiful. She's so sweet. And like, she loves me. Like, I was going to say she's always with me. And I'm always with her, and we're so close. And I promise you that little girl is in the safest space she'll ever be in her life, as well as my son. But my daughter, being a woman, will look up to her mother when she grows up and sees that her mother will get injections. I promise you my daughter knows how beautiful she is and will always know how beautiful she is. And her mommy will tell her that at one point in time, her mommy had a problem with, doing things to herself that weren't her. My kids will, you know what I mean? I'm not saying my life is bad and like what I believe in is bad, but my kids won't be like me in the aspect of my mistakes in the past. I promise you that. So next time, I took a long time to get over that comment. I bawled my fucking eyes out because of somebody who's lost their kids and got them back, which never happens in the state of PA. I love using that sentence. When someone says my kids deserve to get taken away from me, it hurts. It's sad and it scares me and it makes me cry and it's fucked up. So my kids are very strong. They're protected and they have a bank account they can touch when they turn 18 and I can't touch now but put into it. And they're very comfortable. And yeah, so that being said, thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, please comment down below and tell me you've made it this far. I'm actually kind of happy I did a video today. it's been like a year since I filmed over on this channel. Like, I love doing story times. It's just like, I don't feel like I'm never in the mood to talk this long anymore. I like used to be somebody who talks constantly. Like, you could not get me to shut up, and now I'm just like, oh, fucking shut the fuck up, all of you. I hate all of you. Twitter's changed me. No, I'm kidding, but all right, family. I love you so much, and thank you for listening to the story. If you have any opinion, please comment it down below. I am open to constructive criticism. I'm not open to comments that are like, you fucking anti-vaccinating, like, creep show, hard bully, calling her an STI. I'm like, people act like I'm lying. You still act like I'm lying. Like, no. But all right. I love you, family, with all of my person. I'm so excited. We're about to hit 1 million family members over on Karuna Satori ASMR. Please go over there and subscribe if you haven't. I'm not that type of influencer who's like, the chicken meme influencer. No, who's like, please subscribe. But I'm so excited. That's a number I never thought I'd see in my whole life on a YouTube channel who started out with Spring in a microphone and is now talking about her addiction to plastic surgery. I'll see you soon. Bye.